Okay. So, I love Chanukah, but with a little dash of reservation. On the one hand, it is a festival of light, the triumph of light over darkness, of good over evil. This is a universal narrative found in many cultures, and Chanukah gives noble expression to this. Of course, Chanukah also brings with it the majesty of miracles and God's unending support for our people, even during the darkest times. Even when our great second temple is desecrated. Even when amongst the debris, a small sealed jar of pure olive oil, sacramental olive oil, is found and used to keep the eternal light of the temple aflame for 8 days, a miracle. Then there is the idea of Judaism taking a stand against the prevailing cultures who want it snuffed out. Here, the Maccabees revolt against Hellenism and the Syrian Greeks, King Antiochus, who desecrate the temple after the revolt, after the Maccabee revolt, and outlaw Jewish practices. They also take a stand against the so-called Hellenized Jews, who, according to the Maccabees, had strayed too far from their Jewish roots. I wonder what the Maccabees would think of Judaism today, whether we have strayed too far or not. And I would actually be interested to know what your thoughts are. Have we strayed too far from Judaism? What was it like in the old days? How different are we today? I won't put you. In fact, no. Take a minute to just turn to the person next to you. This is Emily's favorite, and and chat to the person next to you, and just get their 2 cents worth about this question. Have we strayed too far? Has the modern Jew strayed too far from Judaism of old? I see a few one-word answers. No, yes, okay, Thank you. Okay, you can ask now. All right, so any ideas there? How far have we strayed? Have we strayed? Rodney? The door of a door. Traditions continuing from generation to generation. All right, and that is the essence of our culture. Okay, that's one idea. Any other ideas? Have we strayed? Not at all. Something to think about. Don't think we can generalize. Okay. Yeah. Good point. I like that. Anyway, so getting back to what I was saying, I wonder what the Maccabees would think of Judaism today, whether we have strayed too far or not. But is it a problem to stray? Is it actually a problem to stray? Is straying not what is needed to keep things fresh and relevant in a modern world? I suppose striking a balance is the trickiest part, and we should always be cognizant of that. I read something interesting about the origins of the Chanukah dreidel. One legend says that at one point when Torah study was forbidden under Greek Seleucid rule, Greeks would check up on Jewish gatherings, causing Torah scholars to quickly stop studying Torah, hide the Torah texts, etc., and pretend to play with spinning tops. Historically, the dreidel, as we know it, the four-sided spinning top with the letters Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Shin, it has its origin in an 18th century Christmas game that started in England and Ireland, and it found its way to Germany. In the English and German game, the same four-sided top was used, but with the letters carved on the side. But the letters that were carved on the sides were of the Latin script, so N, G, H, and S, which denoted the terms for the game, which was N, so nichts, nothing. G was ganz, all, and H was hals, or half. S was stel ein, put in. Okay, so in my mind, it sounds like a gambling game, but yeah. Anyway, so the Yiddish equivalent of this were the letters Nun, Gimel, He, and Shin. So ironically, the holiday celebrating the Maccabees' triumph over cultural assimilation is remembered by playing a dreidel, with a dreidel, which is a pure object of cultural assimilation. Interesting there. So, is cultural assimilation a good thing for Judaism or not? Is going astray, so to say, a good thing or not? Well, I suppose it's what you think stray means. Does stray mean you do away with Judaism altogether? Does it mean you hold on to a kernel of it? Does it mean you reinterpret it, in fact, in that way, maybe enhancing the Jewish essence? Each to his own. Anyway, many would argue that a certain degree of assimilation is apart from God's love and God's covenant, what has kept Judaism alive for thousands of years. Jews have adopted and adapted the customs of the cultures among which they have dwelt, giving rise to localized diversity of Jewish custom, something to be celebrated rather than scorned. Certainly, our ability to assimilate but hold on to our Jewish essence is something which contrasts Jewish lifestyles with other religious lifestyles which may seek to change the cultural landscape of the land in which they find themselves. I always try to find a link between the weekly Parsha and the events unfolding around us. And in this week's Parsha, Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dream and is rewarded for it. Joseph also encounters his brothers, his long-lost brothers, who come to him, not recognizing him, and they bow low, and Joseph kind of plays with him a little bit, and then reveals himself as he reveals himself to them as their lost brother. And they then bow low and they seek forgiveness for what they had done to him in the pit, in the desert. So what led Joseph and his brothers to become estranged? Joseph had been persecuted by his brothers for being himself, for sharing his God-given gift of dream interpretation with others. His brothers found him offensive and did their best to do away with him. They could not bear to see him flourish. So, thinking back to with what is happening around us in the past week or so, with the Bondi Beach massacre, we also see how Jews who are just going about being themselves, like Joseph, this can cause those with hate in their hearts to attack that which is good. And so, with that, I think it's very important that that each one of us as Jews hold on to the light that is within us, and we go out and we spread that light and keep on doing what we do. So, with that, I wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom, and Ken Yehi Ratzon.